Hi, I'm John with Generations Family Ministry, and I'm here with the Enns family for this week's edition of Wise Wednesday. And I have here Judy and Tim Enns, and I've known them for a lot of years, never really closely, but I do know quite a few of their kids, and I know that their kids have turned out to be excellent Christians, and they've definitely passed their faith down to the next generation, and their kids are even passing their faith down to the generation after that. So I'd like to like you guys to get to know them a little bit, and just want to know how long they've been married, how many kids they have, and how many grandkids do you guys have?
You want to take it?
Sure, we've been married 52 years, and we have 12 grandchildren, 6 girls, 6 boys, and
4 kids.
4 children.
3 girls.
3 girls and a boy.
1 boy.
Yeah.
Is there anything specific that you guys think you guys did to help that pass their faith down?
Well, okay, so they regularly went to church with us, and then that was back in the time when we had morning and evening services. So there was no question whether they were going or not. It wasn't if you feel like it, they would go. We made a huge point of always eating dinner together. TV was off, radio was off, so it was, how did your day go? What can we talk about tonight that's useful? And we didn't say it that way, but it was always, we wanted to make sure we talked. When the kids were old enough to read, I rummaged around and got enough Living Bible translations, picked one up in a garbage pile in Santa Cruz and recovered it. I found some others in thrift stores and wherever I could find them. And we would read together. And they would read, sometimes when they were old enough, they would read a paragraph and then the next one would read. Or I would read and we would then talk about what we read. So it wasn't a long time, it was probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe at the most.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that for quite a few years. What else?
Well, I think one thing that's important is that the people that you see when you're at church are the same people that the kids live with at home. And so
You're talking about us.
Yeah, I feel like we were the same flawed people, hopefully. We did not behave one way at church and a different way at home. So I think consistency in what we believed, didn't just happen away, but it happened also in home.
It didn't hurt that I taught all 4 of my kids in school, because I was a school teacher, 5th grade. So I don't remember them ever coming home and say, "Dad, why did you act that way there? You don't act that way here."
Mm-hmm.
So that was important to us.
And you guys, I know you guys had 4 kids, and like you said, we're all flawed people. How do you deal with the conflicts at home?
Interesting question. Well, once in a while there were spankings, but not too often. I wasn't a great fan of timeouts. One of our youth pastors used to say, when you put a child in timeout, you're just teaching them how to do time. But sometimes you would say, "Go to your room, I'll be there in about 5 minutes." So give them a chance to think. But then take care of whatever discipline needed to happen, give them a hug, and let's get back to life. Once in a while I would overreact on something. It was rare, but it did happen. And then I would have to go in and apologize. That was not an appropriate response. So that happened a couple times. We emphasized honesty, integrity, living the way Christ would want us to act. when the kids got old enough, they would leave the house and go somewhere on their own, I would say, frequently, remember who you belong to. And that's not just us. So just to, frequently parents will say, be careful, or have fun. But my comment was, remember who you belong to. So, and I wanted them to, you know, when you start to do something, analyze what you're doing. Is this what God would want you to do? Or is this just foolish bit of nonsense? And of course they didn't always do everything right. Yeah. I certainly haven't done everything right. But like Judy said yesterday, we were talking about this interview, and she said, only by the grace of God. Do we have 4 kids that all love the Lord today? Because that isn't a given. Even with parents who've done everything as well as they can do it. And you have kids, you know how that goes too?
Yeah.
So we have been blessed way beyond what we deserve.
We spent time with the kids too. That we didn't do a lot of outside. We were involved in music, so that was outside. But we started going to Costco as our shopping trip on Friday nights, and even when the kids became older, they still wanted to do that. It was really funny. I mean, their friends would be getting together on Friday night, and they'd say, "No, our family's hanging out, you know, getting hot dogs or pizza and shopping," which to this day amazes me that they still wanted to do that. You know, obviously when they're little, they have no choice.
Yeah.
But it sort of became a tradition which extends today to where, well, not so much during the COVID time, but where we often get together, those that still live close, on Friday nights.
Mm-hmm.
That's our together time. We also took, because he was a teacher, about every 3 years, we'd take an extended road trip. And it was usually 5 or 6 weeks to see sights, but also to see family across the United States. And I remember having friends saying, "Oh, my kids would just die being in the car, driving, you know, and you're in the desert, and it's boring." And our kids, the first day was hard. They were sort of settling in and figuring things out, but they loved it. They talk about it. They want to do it with their families. We'd watch or listen to Odysseys, Adventures in Odysseys, and they do that today with their children.
So I can remember a time when me, as the older 16-year-old driver, and with my brother and Nathaniel and a couple other 14-year-olds, we were going to go out and do something. Nothing bad at all, but I remember him say, "Hey, let me run that by my dad real fast." And, you know, just the respect that he had for you and just the communication you guys had was just kind of just took me even at that young age. And, you know, I just was wondering, is that something that you instilled in them, or is that something that they just got just from seeing how you guys lived?
Probably just seeing how we lived, because I don't remember giving any speeches about that. There were times when the kids would go over to somebody's house and they would say, "We're going to," and we would say, "If any movie comes up that you're worried about, or that you think we'd be worried about, give us a call. If we need to, we'll come pick you up." And we didn't beat on that, but we wanted to give them the option to get out. And we did have to go once with one of the daughters. One of the daughters walked out of a movie when she was in college, much to the chagrin of some of her college mates, but she didn't think it was appropriate. And I appreciated that, and that's what we hope would happen, right? You teach, this is okay, this is not okay. And you hope they would be willing to follow through on that. And we've seen it, and I'm sure it wasn't every time that it happened that they walked out, but it did happen. We had one time where one of the girls was at somebody's house and they were watching the video and she didn't approve of the video, so she went in the kitchen and helped the mom get dessert ready. So, again, by the grace of God, things have stuck. And we as parents are so grateful for that. I don't know how many times I've said to myself, just because I do a lot of working by myself, pulling weeds and cleaning up, and just thinking, God, how could you be that good to us?
Mm-hmm.
That all 4 of the kids are following you and are trying to teach their kids the same thing. So I don't know why he's letting us enjoy that. My parents got to enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
Judy's parents got to enjoy that with the 5 children they had.
Yeah.
So we had good examples to go by.
So, if you guys had to give one piece of advice to the young families here that are watching this video that are raising their kids, what would you give it?
For me, it's be available to listen and not necessarily be ready to step in and fix the problem. Just have a listening ear, hopefully not too judgmental, so that they feel safe to come to you with questions. And so for me, that was big.
And for me, the lesson that I would want to teach my kids, even now, is try to spend at least 1 meal a day together, and make sure that everybody stays and doesn't scarf food down and then leave in 5 minutes, but stays for the dinner time conversation. And that has proved extremely beneficial. I don't know that I could list any particular thing that happened because we had those, but it's that quality comes out of quantity idea. So you spend a lot of time together, they'll learn a lot. And just from answers and discussions, and they won't always agree with you. I mean, even now, we have very interesting conversations around the dinner table now that they're adults. And they don't always agree with Dad and Mom. And that's okay. We enjoy discussing, and we'll go back to the Bible sometimes. Sometimes we just go from what our mind tells us. But we love it when our kids ask questions and want to know why we do what we do. So spend a lot of time with the kids, as much as you can, because very soon they will leave.
Well, I want to thank you guys for your time, and I want to thank Judy for the wonderful cookies that we always enjoyed so much when growing up. So I just want to just thank the Enns for being here with us today, and I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and follow and like us on YouTube, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.